Alright, the last example. I see I have an intercept of negative 18, which I can't even fit on this graph, and an a value of negative 3. Now some people might be tempted to say, oh, I'm just going to divide out the negative 3, because I know negative 3 goes into all those, and so I just get y equals x squared plus 4x plus 6, right? Well, you can't just divide it out. It's not like you have 0 on one side where you can divide both sides by something and just have it go away. But you can divide both sides by that if you would like, which is a perfectly legitimate move. So let's go with that. Why not? My a value is now 1. I need to get my c value to 0, so I'll subtract 6 from both sides. So y over 3 minus 6 equals x squared plus 4x plus blank plus blank. Hopefully you're getting good at this plus blank thing. 4 over 2 squared is just 4, so I'm adding 4 to both sides. This becomes x plus 2 squared, half of b squared, equals y over 3 minus 2, because 4 minus 6 is minus 2. Getting y alone, I add 2 to both sides, so I get x plus 2 squared plus 2 equals y over 3. And now I triple everything, so I get y equals 3, quantity x plus 2 squared plus 6. And why doesn't that work? Well, I know why it doesn't work, because we divided by negative 3. So I should have had y over negative 3 the whole time. So let's make that correction. That's the nice thing about having your work all out, is I can track my progress. Unfortunately, it was on a step where I could undo everything. So that would be negative divided by negative 3, and this would be minus 6. So my vertex form is that my vertex would be negative 2, negative 6. So let's label that minus 2, minus 6. So it's down here. And I know the parabola goes down because I have a negative a value. So where are my x-intercepts if it's going to go down? Well, there are none. And I can show you that several ways why there are none. But why don't I show you in vertex form first? So I know my line of symmetry is x equals minus 2. My y-intercept is 0, negative 18. Even though I can't see it, I know I can use my c value from standard form to get it. Now, one thing to think about is, okay, so it's over 1, down 1, 2, 3, and then over 1, down 9. So you can see the parabola opens down. You can see that there are no x-intercepts. But if you want to see it algebraically, I can find it from vertex form. So I get 0 equals, because y is 0, negative 3 x plus 2 squared minus 6. I'm using vertex form to solve for the x-intercepts. So I add 6 to both sides, and I get 6 equals negative 3 x plus 2 quantity squared. So now I divide by negative 3, and I get negative 2 equals x plus 2 quantity squared. And hopefully some of you are starting to see it now. If I try to take the square root of both sides, I can't take the square root of a negative number. So I get x plus 2 equals plus and minus the square root of negative 2, which is no real solution, which means there are no intercepts, obviously by looking at the picture, because it starts below the axis and goes down. So there cannot possibly be any intercepts there. Likewise, you could have scenarios where it starts above the axis and goes up. No intercepts. So you need to be careful to look for that. And the way I could see that right away was I knew I had a negative a value, which meant it went down, and a negative y-intercept, which didn't quite tell me anything yet. But then when I saw I had a negative vertex, wow, I have a negative, my vertex is below the axis, and it's going down. There's no way it's going to cross the x-axis.